is Christine Larson, and I created the Future of Freelancing conference. My hopes for this were to bring together some of the most accomplished and successful mid-career freelance writers in the country, to get them together with each other. The future of journalism is you guys in this room. And to get them together with editors from leading magazines, people who are creating new digital outlets, and kind of shake them all up and see what happens. We kicked off the whole weekend talking about how to free your inner entrepreneur, and we talked about the freelancer as an entrepreneur.
Writing is a craft, but freelancing is a business.
But when I had a job, I didn't have to worry about any of that other stuff. But now as a freelancer, there is that other component. We are business people.
The person you sat next to on the van over from the hotel may very well give you your next assignment, and that person may be a fellow freelancer.
Another thing that's really important to freelance writers is how do we pitch? So we had a panel of magazine editors from the top magazines in the country, including The New Yorker and Wired, talk about what they look for from freelance writers.
There is a poverty of ideas, and editors are incredibly hungry for good ideas. Yeah. It's hard to come up with a good idea. You know, if you have a good idea, it'll sell like that. Being able to write it and report it is also nice. But
they all talked about what makes a great story. And not just what makes a great story, what makes a great freelance story, and what they look at from freelancers.
One thing I look for is a structural sense of approach, and simply having a good topic is not enough. You need to have some sense of how you want to form a narrative collage.
If I'm accepting a freelance pitch, it's usually because I have some faith that that writer can actually not just write one piece, but actually possibly write many things over time.
I found it incredibly informative and useful, and they were very accessible, which I think people here really appreciated, having that kind of access.
We had Jennifer Kahn, a contributing editor to Wired, who's also written for The New Yorker, go through pitches.
How many people would vote for number one, the scent marketing? Yeah, almost everybody. Okay.
She went through pitch letters and told us what really works and what doesn't.
I included that because it's actually an imperfect pitch, but in this case it got assigned. And the two that got the least votes, the Microsoft Ecologists and the Kinetic Sculptures, did not get assigned.
In the future, freelancers can't just be writers. We also have to be thinking visually.
But what I'm telling my authors who are researching is, especially with nonfiction, as you're doing your research, get video, get audio. When you're ready to deliver, we're ready to publish the digitally enhanced book.
We had a social media expert talk with us about tweeting and getting our brand out there.
It's microblogging, right? Short, frequent posts, 140 characters max.
But also how to use it to get story ideas and how social media is changing the industry.
I'm on those outlets a lot. I'm sharing information. I'm reading the stories of my friends. I'm helping them find sources.
We didn't want this conference just to be about sitting in panels and taking notes. The most important part of the conference was making new connections with editors and with each other.
So if you can avoid the competitiveness and get that feeling of teamwork that is so elusive in a freelancer's life, you can really add a lot of energy to your career.
We had one-on-one sessions where writers were able to meet one-on-one with editors from The New Yorker, from Esquire, but also from digital outlets like the new Bay Citizen and AOL's Patch.com.
There's so many lessons to learn from studying all of these new entities that are coming across the country.
We had small group sessions where a group of 8 or 10 writers got to sit down with an editor or an agent and talk about what that editor or agent looks for and how to improve their craft.
She grew up where her parents are Mexican. She speaks perfect Spanish and had a very simple idea.
I think those small group networking opportunities were actually some of the most valuable parts of the conference.
I've chatted up an editor at Harper's who's now the executive editor at Popular Science. We're talking about a story idea, and he thinks I can turn into a book idea.
What I loved most about this conference was just seeing people at meals and at the cocktail party and between sessions, talking and exchanging numbers, exchanging emails, tweeting, connecting with each other. I have the feeling that people will really be in touch in the future.
You know, part of the reason I came is just because I work alone all day long. I haven't been to a newsroom in over a year, I don't think.
Some of the best moments for me were when writers came up to me and told me that this was the most positive, cheerful, optimistic group of journalists that they've been around in years.
No, it's been really good. There's some really interesting sessions.
Makes the future feel a little less threatening.
I knew that if we got freelance writers out of their basement offices into the sunshine, I knew that something really special would come out of that. And I think it has.